Well, hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Brian over here at the Little Orchard Farm. Welcome to today's video. Well, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to be butchering our first batch of meat birds. That's right, they're going to be about 8 weeks old. We were weighing a few of them yesterday, and they are each in excess of 5 pounds each. We removed their food from them this morning, as tomorrow will be the day that we will process our chickens, and we'll bring that to you in a little bit later video. But today I got a new tool on the farm. We've been struggling with keeping the garden free of grass. We showed you last week on our garden tour. There's a lot of grass in our garden. And some of it is in areas that we haven't planted, but we still need to keep the area clean because we will be planting stuff in those areas. And so we've been using the old, the old hand-me-down tiller from my father-in-law. My brother-in-law, Greg received this from our father-in-law maybe a year or so ago. And it's just having some problems, and it's incredibly massive. It's heavy, hard to control. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going out and I'm going to buy a new tiller, and we're going to try to make our garden look a little bit more presentable than the jungle it looks like. So I did a little bit of research online, and I was looking for a rear tine rototiller, something that was not too heavy, that Karen could get out and utilize if she wanted to use it. Something that would not break the bank and that would be hopefully reliable. Well, I found at least the first two of those three. Now, the reliability piece of it will come in time. But what I did purchase was from the DR company. I went ahead and I purchased their Pro. I think it's called the Pro. What is this called? The Pro. No, sorry. This is called the Pro XL DRT. It's a rear tine rototiller. It's got a 209cc motor with 9.5 foot-pounds of torque. It's a nice looking machine. As I said, of the first two, it's light. It's not that heavy, seems to be well balanced, and it was only $800 with free shipping. I think they list this thing at $1,000, and they had like a $200 off savings for the time. And so anyway, we went ahead and we bought it. Now, there's a couple of things about this machine that I do like. I do like the fact that it has an adjustable arm, so you can loosen this up and fix it to where it's at a comfortable height for you. The gear shifter is here. It has both forward and reversing tines, which was another big benefit that I was looking for. If you're going to use the forward tines, you're typically going to dig in deeper because there's going to be less resistance from the tires. So the tires are pulling it forward, and it's going to be digging with the tires. If you reverse it, then you're actually going to be sinking down deeper, and you're going to be getting a deeper cut, a more furrowed cut, and so. I like that. I think we could probably use both of those. The one thing I did notice on this machine is that it's not really smooth in changing gears. It's a little bit finicky right there. So we're going to have to see how that plays out over time. The throttle is just like a lawnmower throttle, forward, up and down here. It's got the engage, the tine traction drive engage bar. So you just lift up on that and it engages. 2 pneumatic tires. The tires look to be fairly, I'm doing such a horrible job on the camera work today, sorry. The tires are pneumatic tires. They are not tubeless, I don't think. I think they have a tube in them. So not sure about that. What else about this tiller can I share with you? I've got a few little notes here. So the width of the tiller is 18 inches, so it's an 18-inch wide, which is nice. That will be around the general width of our planting rows. The depth is 11 inches, so it can go to an 11-inch depth, which is plenty deep for us, as we would probably only till to that 6 to 8 inch mark typically, to loosen, fluffing up the soil, and then come behind with plantings. This did come with a 2-year warranty for residential users, and so that's awesome. So other than that, it's a pretty basic machine. I do like the fact that it's got some nice little cushion hand grips here. So I guess the next thing to do really is just to put some oil and gas in this engine. Briggs & Stratton, by the way, it's a Briggs & Stratton engine. I don't think I mentioned that. And so yeah, let's get some oil in this thing, oil and gas, and we're going to crank it up, and we're going to take it up to the garden, and we're going to see how this thing performs. What I did notice was that on the internet, it received a 4.0 rating for reviews. So when I'm looking at product, 4.0 is the cutoff. Anything higher than a 4.0 is typically going to be okay, generally speaking. There's always going to be people that have a negative impression of a product. Some of them are fluke. Some of them are design issues. Some of them are, just people whining and moping and griping. And some of them aren't even the company's fault. It's the transportation provider. It's whoever, whatever. There's always going to be somebody that wants to complain. But at the time that I purchased this, it had received over 90 reviews and had a 4.0. Most of the negative reviews were things that happening with, like, the belt slipping. And so we're going to keep an eye on that for sure. But other things were the design flaws, the oil, the oil entry port, the input port is back here behind everything, which makes it incredibly difficult to get the oil in. So I can see that as being really a negative from an ease of use. But I've also worked on and had mowers and things of that nature with similarly hard places to fit things, and you just have to be creative. You got to get the right type of funnel, or whatever the tool that you utilized to maybe work on the engine. You just have to kind of Boy Scout it, be prepared, adapt. And so while some of these are going to be, I think the other thing that's important to remember is that in a tiller design where compactness and maneuverability, flexibility in terms of the width of it, the weight and the balance of it, there's going to be some design options that man, it's the lesser of two evil kind of mentality. And so putting the input port for the oil down underneath here, while looks inconvenient and probably will get a few drops of oil not in the machine, I'm not ready to dock it too hard on a review right now. But where we will truly grade this thing out is on the performance. If the belts are slipping, that's an issue, but we're going to find out. We're going to see how it reacts. And really it's going to come back to, does it truly perform? Does it truly teal the way that we would like to see it teal? And then we're just going to go from there, okay? And we'll figure that out. All right, well, let's get some oil and gas in this thing, and we'll get it up to the garden and see exactly how it performs. Oh, we got a lot to do today, so let's do this. All right, so we've got gas and oil in the machine. Let's crank it, see what happens. All right, so I had two issues with this on the setup. Number one, the kill switch tab was coming in contact with the throttle spring. So it was grounding it out. So I had to bend or slide that kill tab over just a little bit. The other thing was the cable here wasn't set at the right tension, so even when I was turning it up to rabbit, it wasn't going much past turtle. So I had to bend the wire, pull it up in there a little more so that I could actually get a higher RPMs. Not happy about that. But now at least it'll at least throttle up. All right, let's take it up to the garden and see what it'll do. Digging in quicksand. When I had it on the forward tine, or on the reverse tine, forward tine, it goes flying. It's hard to even keep up with it. On the reverse tine, it's sinking in a little bit. Of course, we've got the depth gauge set to where it's not very deep, so it just barely cut across it. I think did exactly what we wanted to do, which was to cut the grass out. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. There you have it. Came back through and just kind of topped off the grass in here. We'll rake up the grass and get it off the top side there on these lasagna plats. It had just gotten so out of control I needed to knock down the grass, and so mixed reviews so far on this little tiller. It's a little bit of a challenge to work it. You really have to use your arms quite a bit. It's not just holding it in line, but you're actually having to lift and push when the tires begin to sink down. And the tires did not grab very well. And because, I think it's probably because it's very loose soil. This is raining for 3 days. Well, that's true. It has been raining, so this is really kind of very moist soil, but it's incredibly vibrant and very, very nice, and it's a fluffy. It was loose to begin with, so it wasn't like it was a hard compressed ground. And so I am satisfied with the job that it did. Again, we got to come through here and just rake up some of this grass, get it out of here, and smooth out our beds. But fairly impressed with that. Did not want to disturb this too awful much. This is an incredibly healthy soil, and I can show you why I think it's a healthy soil. Right there. This is incredible soil. It just had a ton of grass in it, and so yeah, it's now, once we get it kind of raked up, it'll be ready to plant. And I know Karen's probably got some things she's wanting to plant in here. So anyway, final review on the Pro XL DRT DR dual rotating tine rototiller. I sat out there and tried to crank it for about, 20 minutes. And the whole time it wasn't cranking was because the spring was making contact with the kill tab. That's aggravating. I saw one review where a guy had said, very poor engine design. And he was talking about not only the oil field location, which that wasn't a real big deal. But that is, as that thing vibrates, there's a small spring or small wire in here that when it touches that kill tab, it kills the engine. And with this thing being kind of loose, there's some play there, and so yeah, that's not very good. And then the throttle cable was too long, so when I had it on the rabbit, which is throttle it up, it was still turtling, and when I pulled it all the way back, there was no noticeable difference in the RPM or the hum of the engine between rabbit and turtle. And then you pull all the way back past turtle, and that's the stop. That's the kill on this thing, as you can see right here. Rabbit, turtle, stop. So I had to actually shorten the cable just a little bit by crimping, just adding a crimp and rerunning it through the throttle switch here, which is not a big deal, but it is for someone who don't want to mess with it, and I really didn't want to mess with it. So anyway, the gears will take a little bit getting used to as you shift between the transport only, which means no tines are moving, and then the actual tilling direction. When you're moving this gear lever, it's kind of stiff. It's kind of janky. It's not a real smooth shift. It's very mechanic. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it's not. I think earlier I went back and forth between forward and reverse like 5 or 6 times trying to get it to neutral, and I just kept going past it. It wouldn't stop for me. But the engine does run pretty well. It's I think it's plenty powerful enough for our application here in the garden. So out of a rating of 1 to 10 right now, I'm probably going to sit on about a 6. I'm not jumping up and down like I did with some of our other tools that we have or that we purchased. You know, our Kubota tractor, 10. What do you think? What? Score 1 to 10 on the tractor. 10. Yeah, we love our tractor. It's unbelievably awesome. The RTV, easily probably 8. We've had a few things that we've had to work on with that dealt with the winch and so forth. But overall, solid machine. Solid machine. Not ready to give this old boy here that kind of a score. Well, hey, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week for us here at the Little Orchard Farm. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll hope you'll join us again sometime real soon. Subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell. We'd love to have you back. We're approaching 500 subscribers. How awesome is that? Happy Memorial Day to all of you, and we wish you guys a very blessed week. Till we see you again the next time, we will. See ya.